Thank you for joining us. Have you received official word yet from the Liberal Party on your disqualification from this race?
I haven't as of yet. It's quite interesting that I turned on CBC News and read your headline that I was being disqualified from the race. I checked my email, my campaign team has, and as of this moment, we have not received any indication from the Liberal Party as to that type of decision, which to me is very alarming and very shocking that there are these types of leaks, from sources that are occurring.
We have just received a statement from the Liberal Party. Ms. Dhalla, I swear this just came into my email. It's a statement by Azam Ismail, who is the Liberal Party of Canada National Director, on Ruby Dhalla's candidacy for leader of the Liberal Party. Today, the Liberal Leadership Vote Committee unanimously made the decision to disqualify Ruby Dhalla. The decision followed an extensive process and review, including interviews, questionnaires, and an opportunity for Dr. Dhalla to directly address the committees. After a thorough investigation, the Leadership Vote Committee and the Leadership Expense Committee, sitting jointly, unanimously determined that Dr. Dhalla was in breach of 10 violations of the National Liberal Leadership Rules, Leadership Vote Rules, and the Leadership Expense Rules. The violations include concerns about alleged violations of the Canada Elections Act, certain other election finance matters, non-disclosure of material facts, and inaccurate financial reporting. The Leadership Vote Committee determined that the violations were extremely serious and accepted the recommendation of the Chief Electoral Officer and disqualified Dr. Dhalla under Section 8 of the National Leadership Rules. I'm assuming this is the first you are hearing this statement. What do you say that it was unanimous that there were 10 violations of those various rules?
Well, I think it speaks to the state of the Liberal Party of Canada that a candidate who is running to become leader of the party, who is running to become prime minister in our country, is finding out that she has been disqualified on air from an email that the media outlet that she is interviewing with has received. So it is very alarming and very shocking. It is certainly not surprising, because I think the Liberal Party of Canada was seeing exactly what our internal polls are telling us, that my campaign and my team, we were neck to neck with a front runner in the race. They did not want me to go on to that debate stage in Montreal. They certainly did not want me on that ballot. And the Liberal Party of Canada wanted to complete the coronation of Mark Carney. All of the allegations that you have mentioned that you have spoken about, they are completely false. They are fabricated, and I will not allow the Liberal Party of Canada, or anyone for that matter, to smear my name or to smear the name of thousands of volunteers in our campaign.
You said you had an opportunity to present to the committee that made this decision today, correct? What did you say to them?
Yes.
What did you say?
On the committee, they had members from the voting committee, from the expense committee. This committee has been kept secret from all of the candidates. The candidates have been asking who are the members of this committee. It wasn't until today, when I actually presented to them via a virtual call, that I was even made aware of who the individuals were. Neither was time taken for anyone to even introduce themselves. But regardless, no matter what we said and what proof was provided that these violations, were not committed, that this was simply false and fabricated breaches that the party is alleging, they still had a predetermined agenda to keep Ruby Dhalla off of the ballot, to keep Ruby Dhalla out of the debate stage, because they did not want anyone challenging their front runner, their blue-eyed boy, Mark Carney.
Okay, I mean, you make that allegation. You say you have thousands of people in your volunteers in your organization. I've not seen any polling anywhere that puts you neck and neck with Mark Carney. If anything, he has a commanding lead over even Chrystia Freeland and Karina Gould, who in some form are second and third amongst Liberals and amongst Canadians. I mean, what are you basing this on, that you were the threat to Mr. Carney?
Well, I'm the only one that was the outsider in the race. I am the only candidate that has not been an advisor to the current administration. I am the only candidate that has not served as a minister or a member of parliament. I am the only one that was an outsider, that was continuing to challenge the front runner, continuing to challenge and speak out for the establishment, and also bringing forward policies which I thought were very important to bring our party back to the center, to return our party back into the hands of the membership and the grassroots. And when I talk about these polling numbers, this was and is going to be a preferential ballot where people mark 1, 2, 3, or 4. And
Right.
even though people may be supporting Mark Carney as their number one choice, they were looking at supporting Ruby Dhalla for their second choice, along with the other thousands of members that our team had signed up. And I think that the Liberal Party must have felt some sort of threat to the establishment, to their coronation that they wanted for their frontrunner.
Okay, you say you are an outsider. One of the allegations against you is that there was an outsider, as in a non-Canadian citizen, playing a role in your campaign, involved in the direction and support of the campaign and financially contributing to your campaign. Are you aware of a wealthy non-Canadian citizen playing a role in your campaign and donating to your campaign?
First of all, there has been no donations. Again, these are false and fabricated stories that are being made up. We have provided them with all of the information in regards to this, but if the false and fabricated, and fake allegations continue, we have seen that they will say whatever it takes, and they did by having me disqualified in this race so that I would not participate in the debates in Montreal on Monday and Tuesday.
But is there an extremely wealthy non-Canadian citizen supporting your campaign?
No, there is not.
There is nobody from outside the country who's not a Canadian providing any kind of material support, even if it's donations of things, advising you, giving you direction in any way whatsoever. Because this is one of the allegations that I am told you were presented with. You know what I'm talking about here, I assume, Ms. Dhalla, and that was discussed at this committee this afternoon.
Yes, it was. And I can share with you that my candidacy was historic. My candidacy was historic because I was the first woman, of color. I was one of the first women of an immigrant community to seek the leadership for the Liberal Party of Canada, to become Canada's Prime Minister. And I had thousands of well-wishers across the world who were excited about this movement and this moment for our party and our country.
Were you aware, or do you know if there was a corporation that was paying money to some of your campaign staff? Because corporations cannot donate in the political process here. This is another one of the allegations against you.
The allegations list, there were 12 allegations that they presented, and I can tell you it is again false. Our campaign has not in any way been non-compliant with Elections Canada. We have ensured that we have followed all of the rules of Elections Canada. The Liberal Party has come out. One day it was foreign interference. The next day it's about financial violations. I don't know what story is going to be coming out tomorrow, but I can tell you the fact that they have disqualified me clearly shows they did not want me on that debate stage, and they tried to use any excuse they could to ensure that I would be disqualified.
So this was an investigation, as I understand it, done, for the chief electoral officer, an assessment done. It's on official letterhead from a law firm. This was presented to you. This seems like quite the elaborate thing to do to keep you off the debate stage. I mean, people may look at that explanation and the process here and wonder if it's true. I mean, what do you say to anyone who's skeptical of your claims here?
Well, they took out one candidate from the South Asian community earlier on in the race, and they silenced him because he has not spoken since in regards to why he was let go. And they knew that they would not be able to silence me, and they're trying to do everything they can to cover their tracks. I do know what the truth is. I know that all of the information, was provided with them, and the allegations that they have made. One day it was again on foreign interference from the Modi government, who I haven't spoken to or been in contact with in years. And then today it was in regards to the financial, violations. They're false, they're fabricated, they're fake, and I will not let them smear the name of my campaign or the integrity of our campaign.
Well, as we discussed earlier today, before I knew about this meeting and before we knew about this decision, we did talk about your past support for Narendra Modi. As this evolved throughout the day, that does not appear to be the reason here at all. Like, that could be one political concern they have, but in terms of my understanding of the allegation against you, where there is a foreign interference component here, and I don't know if this is of the 10 violations that the party has concluded, and I don't know if you know at this point in time, but the
I don't
claim
even
was
know because I haven't even received a letter yet. So maybe during this interview I might have received something, but
yeah.
prior to coming on air, I just heard about the breaches from yourself. I have not been informed as to what the decision of the Liberal Party was, and it was actually through the CBC that I actually heard about the decision of the Liberal Party.
Well, look, I'm sorry you had to find out that way. We were reaching out to your campaign as we were getting a sense of where this was going for reaction, but I appreciate that you don't want to react to something until you know.
The Liberal Party would have reached out to me versus the CBC.
Well, yes. So, I mean, you did speak to them today. You did make your case to the committee today, and clearly it didn't convince them. And I know you say this is a larger effort to keep you off the debate stage to protect Mr. Kearney. But what do you do now? My understanding is you can appeal to the Permanent Appeals Committee of the Liberal Party. That would be a route that is open to you and anybody. Mr. Aria could have done that as well, though I don't believe he did it. What are you going to do, Ms. Dhalla?
I guess I'm going to take some time, first of all, to process what the Liberal Party has stated are the reasons for the breaches, because they have been provided with all of the evidence. If they have a preset, determined agenda, they have the establishment there. Obviously, all of the people that were on the committee are all a part of one team, and they do not want to have anyone challenging the status quo. They do not want to have anyone challenging the front runner in the Liberal leadership race, which I do not understand, because we were in an election, and in an election, it's the talking about progressive ideas. I think it is a sad day today, not only for the Liberal Party, but for democracy, for free speech here in Canada, and also for those that want a progressive policy agenda for immigrants in our country, for people of color, because with my candidacy in the race, we were making history. And it is really unfortunate that the Liberal Party didn't see it as such.
You mentioned people of color and the South Asian heritage of both you and Mr. Chandra Arya, who were disqualified. You keep coming back to this. Do you believe race played a role in this? Because that seems to be a component of what you're saying here.
That would be a good question for the Liberal Party, because the facts that they've disqualified 2 people from immigrant communities, both from the South Asian community, I think the Liberal Party would probably be best suited to answer that question.
But what do you believe? I mean, you have mentioned this. I assume you must have mentioned this in your direct appeal to the I believe it's 12 people who were meeting today to decide on this. I mean, what is your view on this as the person who has been disqualified from the race today?
I think it's a targeted attack against all immigrants in Canada. The fact that they do not want to have people from immigrant communities represented for top leadership roles. It's okay, to get involved as a member of parliament or an MPP, but they do not want to have someone from an ethnic community running for the top position in Canada.
Well, Frank Baylis is black. He's of mixed race heritage. I mean, he is certainly not. He has not been disqualified unless there's something else I don't know about. But
maybe he'll find out from CBC News as well.
Well, I mean, Anita Anand had bowed out, but she would certainly have been allowed to run in this race. I believe. We have seen people from South Asian communities.
I was allowed to run as well.
Right.
So the party, at the end of the day, the fact of who they have disqualified, it speaks for itself in terms of their decisions. I have been involved with the party since the age of 14. The party, during my time was always inclusive. It was not a small cabal of individuals that were making decisions, but we are seeing and have seen that the party does not want to have anyone questioning the establishment, going against the status quo of the establishment. That's why it is really important, for my team to know that this type of decision by the Liberal Party will not silence the thousands of Liberals across the country who wanted change.
Okay, this is a final point, Ms. Dhalla. They say there are 10 violations, and it was unanimous. We're talking double-digit violations and unanimity in a committee. That seems, those are both, that's critical mass in multiple directions here to come to this decision. But you just deny that even unwittingly you may have violated financial rules?
I, said to them, I was very humble in my conversation, with the committee. If I have made any violations, please let me know. We will have them fixed. There is nothing that my auditors or my accounting team that had seen that was glaring. We provided supporting documentation, for everything. Nothing has been filed to date with Elections Canada other than, the list of donors, and that we were there to ensure that we were compliant and that we had, our financial paperwork in order to ensure that compliance. But the party refused to listen because they had a preset agenda. Everything was fine with Ruby Dhalla being in the race until Ruby Dhalla started picking up momentum and speed.
Right.
And this disqualification, I believe, is an attempt to have that silence, to have that momentum quieted so that they can complete the coronation for their front runner.
Well, it also came, though, when the filings had to be submitted to Elections Canada, and the look at the money trail began, and they started to assess the validity of donations, and these are financial violations. So the timeline is, with the financial reporting to Elections Canada and then that assessment, here we are today. I mean, people may look at it and say, well, this is the problem. These truly are financial violations, and this is why Ruby Dhalla has been disqualified, not an attempt. The
violations have nothing to do, and I have issued tweets on this, the violations that we were expressed with in regards to our donors had nothing to do with our campaign. If a couple chooses to use a credit card for a joint bank account that they have, then that is their choice. Our people certainly haven't asked individuals to use a selective credit card. That is a choice of a donor. The donor then had to do an attestation. It was an administrative point on behalf of the donor that had to be done. It had nothing to do with our campaign.
But was that even one of the 12 allegations? I know there were concerns about this, but the 12 allegations made against you.
I haven't even seen the letter because I have been on the
but you would have been presented with the 12 allegations when you're presented to the committee.
Nothing
the 12
came up today.
But but not about the credit cards.
Related to that.
But it's about payments from corporations to campaign volunteers. It's about the undisclosed role of a non-Canadian citizen and maybe donations to your campaign, maybe not of cash donations, but of other in-kind donations of other things that were not disclosed. It seems to be more about that than couples using the same credit card. Or am I wrong here? Because this is my understanding of where it went.
There have been no corporate donations made from any corporation because that would not be in accordance with the Elections Canada guidelines.
Yes.
And these allegations that are being made, because you seem to have a lot more information than I do on this, we have not been informed of that. I can tell you that the allegations that you are sharing here today, they are fabricated, they are false, and they are certainly not in accordance with the discussion that was had today. Any questions that we were given, we provided them with the supporting documentation, and we're very transparent in doing so.
Well, Ruby Dhalla, I want to thank you for being available for us. I know it's probably not a fun day for you and hearing about it the way you did, but I appreciate you taking the time to come speak with us, take our questions.
I'm going to go out and check my email now to see if we received any correspondence, but it is a sad day for democracy in our country. But that will not stop myself and my team to stand up for Canadians and continue to fight for Canada.
Ruby Dhalla, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.